It's your boy 215 Guy Beats, aka Streets, aka you already know this. Producer's new favorite podcast, Let Me Rap With You podcast. I'm very excited for this episode because I'm not even gonna lie. The relationship that I have with this artist has probably been a lot longer than I had on this podcast. And I've definitely had people ask me like, "Yo, you always talk about you have an artist or this, that, and the third, but how come you've never had him on a podcast?" But like I tell y'all, great things take time, and even we understand that. So for me, I'm proud to present to y'all for the very first time on the Let Me Rap With You podcast. We got AyeBee in the fucking building. What's up with you, bro?
What's cracking, bro? It's about time we got on here, bro. I'm hyped to get this started.
I'm getting ready to say, bro, and from the other interviews and all the other interviews you've done, spoken well on me, and before we even get into the great history that we have and the other stories that are beyond our history, honestly, for those who are already tuned into AyeBee, I'm pretty sure they would want to know, where did music originally start for you?
For me, man, it was like so I had a pretty rough childhood. Not necessarily. I wasn't in poverty. I wasn't in a bad neighborhood type of deal, but like I had some messed up situations that led to my mom passing when I was like 7, when I was 8 actually, excuse me. It was in '07, and after over the years, man, I just kind of found different types of music that just kind of spoke to my soul. You know what I mean? Discovered Eminem and like junior high, man, and like that it changed my trajectory and my outlook on everything. Just having a voice that could speak to stuff like that, that internal kind of struggle. So that's kind of where my interest really all started. I was raised on like classic rock and country, and like I come from like a country type of area, Illinois. I'm in an agricultural area, you know what I mean? So I was brought up on that, but yeah, hip hop's where my love for music really started.
Were there any other genres that you were tapped into before hip hop?
Not heavily. I wasn't a big music guy, I wouldn't say, but I never really connected as much to guitars and like live band instruments. Like I have a good respect and like obviously I like the sound and the vibes and stuff of music like that, but I never heard anything that was like personally that I connected with until I heard hip hop.
So a good conversation that that we've had, and aside from the bad ends in the situation, long live Mom Dukes, but a good conversation that we had in your early days and coming up into music was that your brother was an inspiration into you getting into hip hop as well.
Yeah, well, I'll say this: my older brother, he had every he was a listener of every type of music. He had thousands and thousands of songs on his iPod, and then whenever that iTunes and everything got passed down to me and my little bro, that's where I discovered like Lil Wayne. I discovered Ludacris. I got into obviously more Eminem, Wiz Khalifa. Wiz Khalifa obviously became one of my personal favorites. You know what I mean? So yeah, without him being open to so many types of music, man, I would have never discovered it.
No, definitely. And when it came to you first, I'll say it like this: not even recording your first song. When can you remember writing like your very very first song, even if it wasn't recorded?
Going through like, especially with like I said, losing my mom and stuff. So I had a stepmom, and I just had at home troubles, just button heads, stuff like that. You know, every step kid has those stories. But my way of coping wasn't anger issues or acting out or anything. My way of coping was writing on the way to or on the way to school on the bus. You know what I mean? I remember writing stuff like that, writing in class. So I think like right around high school age, I just really kind of started doing it in my free time, just as a release more than anything.
Oh man, I'll say it like this: definitely. So, how long how long would you say before you actually recorded your first song?
Probably about 4 years or so. I mean, I wasn't heavy or serious in writing when I was in high school because, like I said, I come from a very country place. So it's not exactly, I wasn't the cool kid because I wanted to rap. You know what I mean? I wasn't, it was something that was definitely made fun of. So I didn't really take it too seriously or wasn't convinced to until I graduated. And then I got an artist like Chris Webby. Chris Webby was a big inspiration. Someone who doesn't come from your stereotypical hip hop roots, but is still able to pave their own path. You know what I mean? So I think when probably around like 2018, early 2018, I put out my first song, and I decided to actually try to do something with it.
No, definitely shout out Chris Webby, a great underrated artist that definitely doesn't get the credit that he deserves out here. And
Oh yeah, he gets shadow banned on social medias. That man can't get out, save his life, but he's killing it.
when it came to recording your first song, was it released on YouTube, SoundCloud? Where was it released at?
My first song, man, I I had no idea what I was doing, and I put it everywhere on. I don't even know if it's still up everywhere. To be completely honest, I dropped it under a same artist name, but I put A period B period, and it was called Back in the Day. If you can find that on streaming platforms, I know it was on Spotify and stuff at one point, but I pretty much kind of wiped it clean after I learned what I was doing.
So, by the time then, like you said, knowing what you was doing for artists who are trying to find their way, who are still trying to learn themselves and still trying to learn, what they're going to do in their process in their career. What was your example of figuring out what to do?
Honestly, bro, like I said, looking at independent artists, Chris Webby was a great example. Not even necessarily as far as the music, but even just looking at how people navigate social media and stuff like that. Like a big learning point for me was just seeing how people who weren't top of the charts, how they were actually organically growing themselves. So I mean, like studying the game, I guess you'd say, having meeting people, making connections was a big one. Me and you linked up in 2019, or was that late 2018? Somewhere in there, and we like you definitely helped me learn a lot of the ropes just in yourself. So
If I
you know what I
remember,
mean.
it was 2017 because I was still close to Seb and Creatives Only. It was 2017, if I remember.
I think it was early 2018 then,
Yeah,
because that's when I forgot my first song, and I remember we met in the IG group chat. I think it was.
shout out to Creatives Only. Shout out to my boy Seb. That he
Big
just
shout out.
he just had like random he had random people in the group chat. I'm gonna keep it a bean. I think I only knew him and Marco 210, my boy Real Trippy. I think they were the only two guys who I really knew personally in that group
Yeah.
chat. And then and then I don't know what had happened. I think I was just letting everybody know that I was mixing and
I was gonna
mastering. I
say,
can't I can't I
I think I tapped in, and you I sent you the first song, and I was like, I've never recorded anything not in one take before, because I chopped up the verse in segments because it was a bunch of fast rap stuff. And yep,
that was Real Talk
that was our plug.
1. Real Talk
Yep, that
1,
was
right?
real talk.
And then
Still out on SoundCloud.
honestly I remember I think that was my day off. I remember if I remember that was my day off from work when I was working on that. I took off um and the only thing I can remember was that I gave you a deal on the mixing and mastering, and I took my time with it because I liked the song. I actually did a little bit of mixing, and I went outside, went to go smoke on real quick. And then I came back in, and then put the little final touches that I had wanted to do on it. So really, that's really all it simply was for me. And then just like you said, explaining, the first half of the story that you've already told. You had that same conversation, and then I
Mhm.
just kept it going from there. But another person who I would like to speak on, and especially because he definitely was there throughout the whole time, and especially even through Song to Smoke to, which was my executive produced project. Shout out to Good Vibes, MI. Shout out to James. He was definitely there
My
throughout the
man.
whole time. So um,
Let me funny story about that. me and James linked because he was co-workers with my roommate at the time, and they were working at a sporting goods store. They were selling shoes and shit, and my homie, my music was not good, dog. It was not good at the time, but he kept showing it to James and being like, bro, you should put my homie on, bro, you should put my homie on, because James was like, he had an interest in music. I think at the time he was talking about putting on a show, and it was his first ever show, and he put me on, man. He put me on, and that was how me and James ended up linking up for the first time. He gave me the grace of giving me my first show, and ever since then, me and him have been locked in. He's also my manager now. For people who don't know, Good Vibes. He helps me get booked and helps to run the business side of things. So big shout out to bro.
Nah, he has definitely always played a part in, like I said, even when I was there from the start. Like I said, he was there on the intro that stuck to it, which honestly for me was one of my personal favorite, songs
Yep.
that were done.
Hey man, I brought bro out of retirement. I think that's the only thing he's done since since he stopped making music himself. He used to make music, bro. He opened for Chris Webby back in the day. Actually, that was
I
always
didn't know
something I
that.
really admired. Yep, he used to rock it himself. So that's, I will say, I missed him. He was a huge part in helping me understand how to get started, like, and understanding networking and just communicating with people. You know what I mean?
For sure, and because I'm pretty sure some of the day one fans, like they definitely would like to know, like like speaking on some of those, like first shows, like you said, your first show, James has definitely helped, throughout getting you to all these shows. So like, what were some of your like best experiences throughout some of these venues that y'all have done?
I'll tell you, bro, we do not live in a hip hop community. You know what I mean? Our shows, especially at first, they were like a lot of venues and stuff that wanted to put it on because of the whole hip hop stereotypes and everything like that. But we've all credit to him. He's the promoter, man. He's the one who puts everything together. But I've been along for the ride and watched every step. But he's personally helped create a scene, or at least bring back the scene that was here and revitalize it a little bit. You know what I mean? So to be a part of that in itself is pretty dope. Just seeing more and more people come out every time we throw a show here in Quincy, like, it's a pretty cool experience. But I will say we went to LA in 2022, and that was an incredible experience, man. Like getting out and actually being able to go meet creatives from a from like completely across the country. You know what I mean? So doing stuff like that. We've been out to Alabama, man. He's set up shows in Florida, coming down soon. You know what I mean? But yeah, I mean, like traveling's the biggest, I think. The coolest part about being hooked in with James and doing these shows is being able to get the opportunity to go places that without music I definitely wouldn't have had the opportunity to. You know.
No, definitely for sure. And so going out LA, what was like one of the most memorable moments you had out there when you was there in LA?
Man, just so our shows in LA were more like it was kind of an open, whoever showed up could kind of come rock a set. You know what I mean? So it was the coolest thing, I think, was just the mix of artists and meeting people who weren't even intended to perform, and just like getting to chop it up with creatives that, like, otherwise, never would have got the chance to interact with or connect with. Some of them have put on shows that we've been a part of. A couple of them that we met in LA, they've been doing shows. So I mean, shout out to bros. But yeah, man, stuff like that. Like I said, the networking has been a huge part of working with Good Vibes.
No, definitely shout out to the mind. Definitely shout out No Rivals. I know they're out there. They definitely be
Yep.
putting out good venues and stuff. Um, so what was so we got LA. What were some of the other places that you've performed at as well?
Birmingham. We went down to Birmingham twice. He uh he was managing an artist named Joel Stevenson. Shout out to bro. I've done some songs with him. Uh we did some shows for him in his town, Birmingham, and that was pretty dope. I will say the second show, man, they had us booked in the hood, and obviously looking at me, I did not belong in that area. So I mean, there's been some sketchy situations here and there, but uh yeah, man, Alabama was pretty dope. Alabama, it was beautiful to get to see Southern culture. You know what I mean? So, um, yeah.
What's another?
Trying to think of where else we've been. Indianapolis. We've been at Indianapolis and Pittsburgh. I can't forget those. We just went out to Pittsburgh. I filmed a music video out there. I remixed Mac Miller's "She Said." You know what I mean? Had to pay my respects at the memorials and stuff. You know, one time. But yeah, man, stuff like that. That's probably one of my favorite trips. I almost forgot about it, but we're to be Henny out in Pittsburgh, man.
No, definitely. And like you said, you've had like experiences where, like you said, even down in Alabama, you felt like, you definitely shouldn't have, belonged in that area. What are some other experiences that you can, recall being in, just performing or even being at a show?
We I'll give you a quick one of my least favorite experiences from the time that I've been working with James. I got scheduled at Drip Fest last year in, I want to say, Mendota, Illinois. I might be wrong. I might be tripping. Might have been more Peoria. Anyway, I opened for Futuristic. I'm sure you know who Futuristic is. He's one of my
Yeah,
favorite rappers
legend. Jay
personally, especially
Futuristic,
back in high
definitely a
school.
legend out here. Definitely.
Yep, but yeah, no, dude. Before I went on, the DJ sent everybody out the booth or out the room because he said they got free weed at a table outside the room. So I performed to about three people, but shit like that. That was probably a learning experience on just working with different situations and stuff like that. You know what I mean? Not letting stuff get to you, but yep.
There was a tweet that you had put out. It was about a couple months ago. You said you had did a performance, and you said after the performance, I think somebody had tipped you like $100 or something.
Nah, bro. Oh, while I was rapping, bro. Oh, so we did a show. Our local place we usually do all our shows at. It's called Joker's Lounge. Great bar. Shout out to Angie. Um, she it was, I don't even remember what the show was called or what the theme was or anything like that, but I was just rocking my set, and dude in the crowd, he tipped me $100 mid set. I was just walking through the crowd and he hands me $100 bill. Man, I've never stumbled harder over words in my life mid verse, but yeah, man, stuff like that's really cool. Whenever people, and then after the show, he came up and he shook my hand and he told me to keep doing my thing. So stuff like that, tells you you're not on the wrong path.
As much as I hate to say it, that's he paid for a lot of streams right there in one.
Shoot, shoot, but and I think that was right before we went out to Pittsburgh, and that money went straight to helping us fund that trip. So big thank you to that guy.
Oh yeah, no, I was definitely about to ask where that 100 goes. So the whole 100 went to funding the trip.
Saving, bro. That's what we've been on.
So
Also, we're random side note, but shout out to my girl because she's the one who drives me and gets me safely to all these shows. So word to her for providing transportation because without her, I would have never done almost any of these.
nah, facts for sure. And like you said, James, he's had his resume of opening up for Chris Webby. Who are some of the artists that you can name in your resume that you have opened up for as well?
Man, like I said, futuristic. Kirko Bangs. We brought Kirko Bangs, I think, last year
Oh
to
shit.
Quincy. I've opened for 30 Deep Grimy. I've opened for Hurricane Wisdom. He's up and coming. That kid's gonna be big. I can see it. Um, Man, who else have I opened for? I've opened for quite a few people for
Montana 300, I think you said. Did you say that
Montana
already?
300. Yeah, I opened for Montana 300, bro. That was dope. He was definitely somebody I studied lyrically. You know what I mean? Trying to think. I will say I'm excited for where potentially I could be opening in the future. Just seeing possibilities and understanding my own opportunities. Like I won't say any names or anything, but I got some ideas of soon to come, hopefully opening slots.
what artist would you want to open up for right now? If you could, like, if you had the choice for anybody, who would you open up for right now?
Right now, man, someone like Chris Webby or Echo, um, even like a J-Zack. I don't know. A lot of people might not know who he is. He's one of my favorites. He out of New Hampshire. But like artists, kind of been more in my lane, because I think one of the things that has made. Yeah, my dog barking in the background.
Is that
He's
Kojo?
asleep. Yeah, he dream barking right now. Um, but guys that are more in my lane, like my type of music, because I think I just need to expose myself to the right crowds and put my effort into being associated with the right communities and stuff. You know what I mean? So people like that, people who are more on the lyrical route.
Kojo sounding like Chop. Kojo sounding like Chop back there right now.
He back there dreaming, bro. He dream barking.
So he must have seen a cat or something. He must have seen a cat or something.
Definitely, bro. I don't know.
Nah, he
You
caught.
do
Yeah,
that.
he must have caught him. He must have caught him in that dream now. But nah, shout to Kojo. That's my dog. But no, cause to be honest, bro, with the way and the one thing that I want to explain to people, and honestly, I just want you to give the testimony as well because you've seen James, do these shows DIY, and these sessions, these the sesh backs and all that. So one thing that I admire with James' work is that no matter the acts along with you, all the acts actually tend to actually bring their own crowd, their own vibe, and all that. And a lot of people they'll think you can just have a hit song or have followers on social media. It's not really about that. It's actually about engaging with your fan base and actually going out there to those shows, those 2 3 people that you might see that might actually
Hmm.
fuck with your music. So like just the importance of like just actually bringing the fan base, like actually bringing the traffic to these shows. How can you break down, how James, actually brings that to these shows for you and all the artists that actually do that.
Yeah, James has really got a good job of promoting himself, and he does a good job of if you need assistance on learning how to promote, or if you're not sure how to promote a show or your own music or whatever, he's very helpful for people who reach out. You know what I mean? And he does make sure to include everybody in group chats and making sure everybody's well informed. That's one thing that a lot of shows I've been a part of, or not a lot, but shows that I've been a part of that he hasn't put together. It's very, very hit or miss on communication. So he does a good job of making sure everybody knows what's going down, what time everything is. So he does a good job of getting the word out and helping the community, spreading the word around the community locally.
What are some of the other mishaps that you've dealt with at venues? Like you said, like miscommunications. What are some of the other mishaps that you have dealt with at venues as an artist?
Oh, just as far as like technical difficulties, or like as far as like no lack of communication, like not knowing when you go on or walking into the place and not really having any idea of how anything's supposed to work. You're just told to be there. So stuff like that. Nobody's ever personally done anything or anything like that, but it's just stuff everybody has to deal with while they're going through the process. That's how
Now,
I look at it.
now, to be honest, that actually becomes a pain because then it's a setback, then time is messed up, and then and to be honest, what I be trying to explain, like I said, even when I was explaining to people, with the Slide and Shine event that all the coalitions that we had hosted. So the importance of just having everything in order and on a timely basis is very important because then that's also crowd control. If things aren't in control, you're going to have a possible crowd that could have been in there go out that door.
Yep. Yep. Like I said, man, I'm learning as I go as well, so it all comes with challenges of learning to bring the crowd back in and stuff like that. So it's all just like I said, it's all part of lessons and learning as you go up.
So, going into some of the catalog, a project that definitely that stands out for me, and more likely for the majority of AyeBee fans who are definitely a fan of the whole catalog. A project, in my opinion, that stands out is the Gotcha EP. So, what was really more so the inspiration behind doing that project?
Honestly, man, so I wrote I think it was Catch a Vibe, the second song on that EP. I wrote that one first, and I really wrote that inspired by meeting my girl. You know what I mean? I mean, I've never written a love song. I don't think she'd ever had a love song written to her or anything, but it just kind of came to me, and I showed it to her, and she told me it was really good. So I kind of just continued on that vibe and kind of put together a couple more, and I kind of dedicated that project to her. And like I said, man, she's the reason I get to so many shows. She's the reason I get to do certain things as much as I do. So it's kind of a token of appreciation, you know what I mean? Least I could do.
Definitely, and you know, besides Catch a Vibe, what can you say was one of your other songs and the process that that you were doing behind that? What can you say was another one of your favorite songs on the project?
Creatively, I'll say "Got You," the final song on that, the title track. I, in terms of creative process, man, I'd made that one completely different. So I won't say I freestyle because I ain't spit it off the dome, but I wrote that one just in chunks and kind of recorded it as I went, and instead of second guessing it and waiting and rewriting and then waiting a couple days to record like I usually do whenever I make music. So it was something that I more kind of let just be raw and just let be what it was. So it felt good that it came out as good as it did, and without me having to like, as me and you have coined the term, Kanyeing it up, man,
Mm-hmm.
redoing it 100,000 times. So
No,
that
no,
one stood
big
out to
facts.
me.
Big facts. I believe in that, and for me, somebody who has, done the catalog, done the beginning of the catalog, and definitely seen the evolution. You know, what I would say is, and especially like you said, Kanyeing it up. Doing it 1,000 times over. I definitely believe in that, especially if it means, you know, getting it, the right way, because like you said, just everybody has a different process when it comes to recording, when it comes to writing, when it comes to finishing it, mixing it, mastering it. And you were actually talking about that and the gist of that. What's your process just when you go into recording and writing? Just for the artists out there, who are, like I said, everybody has their different techniques. So, what's yours?
Mm. I'll say I'm kind of different. I won't say I'm different, but everybody around me tends to do it differently than I'll do. I'll say that, but I take my time, man. I'll take some songs might take a night to write, you know what I mean? Some songs might take a couple weeks, but I don't necessarily try to force a full song out. I kind of just sit down and I just write whatever's coming to me. I mean, obviously I'll dedicate certain time and put in so much effort to come out with a product, but I don't try to rush all my stuff. I try to write it as I can so it comes out more natural. Doesn't sound as forced, but I'll make sure I write everything. I have everything written. I memorize pretty much everything for the most part before I go into record. And then I'll go in and I'll record maybe one or two songs in a night if I have enough done or whatever. And then I'll get all those tracked out. I don't record. One thing that makes me different, I don't record with effects. I don't record the presets. I don't record everything's raw. I have this weird belief to myself that if I can make it sound, it's not obviously going to sound mixed and mastered, but if I can make it sound good raw, then there's no excuse why it won't sound exactly how I want it whenever it's mixed down. So that's one thing about my process. I still track everything in Audacity, free software. A lot of people have been using it for forever. Some people don't know what it is, but that's my go-to. It picks up my vocals in a different way than my other program does. Yeah, export everything, get everything mixed down. I just started mix and mastering everything myself, so that's been a whole monster in itself to explore and learn.
No, definitely shout out to Audacity. I started from Audacity long, like I said. Those who are just getting into music, that's just one you want to write down in your notebooks. I ain't even gonna lie. If
Hey,
you,
bro, it's free. I have used it since 2018, bro, and I know it's outdated. Everybody records with their effects on, man, but it's just part of my process, bro. I put up one program and I get everything tracked out, then export it to the mixing program.
nah, big facts. And the one thing that I would want to say is, like I said, exporting it, and then you use Audacity, then going into Mixcraft, doing the finalization before the mastering, and then when it comes to vocal layering, because one thing, and me as an engineer, who who has done your work. One thing we're definitely stern on, and one thing that you've definitely learned in the process of you mixing and mastering your own music is leveling and balance. What's the importance of leveling and balance for when it comes to that final master? Because we've definitely had to, you know,
Bro, there's so many times when I'm about to upload it and I message you. I'm like, bro, I need you to turn this one vocal down. It's hard, man. And especially my biggest issue is I want all of it done now. I want to spend 5 hours on it and I want to get this all done tonight and I don't want to work on it again. But you have to let your ears rest and you have to hear everything on a you can't always be plugged in and listening to it. That's my biggest issue is like trying to over listen and then making adjustments that don't need to be made or the wrong adjustments, whatever it may lead to. But yeah, vocal leveling, any kind of leveling, whether you're doing stems with the beat or whatever, man, it's very important to give yourself time to actually listen to it clearly. That's probably my biggest note.
yeah, nah, because the one thing I'll tell people, turning that one, turning that vocal that one notch down, or turning a set of layers just a couple notches down, will literally help me boost the master when it comes to the final product.
And see, I'm just learning mastering as well. You know that I'm not exactly the most experienced, but
What? No,
everything comes with learning as well. Don't be afraid to just do stuff. That's my other note because I held myself back for a couple years, not mixing my own stuff just because I was afraid I would mess it up. I like my music better now than I ever have, and that's no hate on anybody that's mixed it before. It's just I like being able to put my touch on it.
no, and at the end, that's what it should be about. And to the artists out there, who are going to be watching this, for me, as an engineer who was engineering the beginning of your catalog, like I said, like for me, I actually care for the artists that I work with. Like if they want to learn how to mix and master their own music, that's definitely the right thing to do. Artists should definitely have creative control, not only with how their career is moving, but how they want their sound. But definitely having the
Mm-hmm.
ear, like, so it's like for me, what I would tell engineers, because like I said, we've had conversations on the podcast. Definitely shout out my boy Monty. Like I said, where artists should definitely understand a little bit of the engineering process. But
That would say that's the biggest part about mixing for me is that when I do work with somebody else, I can say, "Hey, this needs EQ'd this way. This needs some highs taken out, or this needs compression, or take off that delay." And I actually know what I'm talking about, and I know how to say what I want. That's the other. It's knowing how to say what you want, not just knowing what you want. Like once you learn what effects do and all the little details, bro, that makes it so much easier to work with somebody else because you can tell them exactly what you're looking for. So I will say that's a big note, at least understanding.
nah, yeah, that like you
And
said.
don't other
Hmm.
note, don't just use fucking presets on everything. I hate everybody just want to use an auto tune preset, throw the same one on every song, bro. Get it out of here.
Like you
That's
said,
my take on that.
like you said earlier, I'm not really a preset. The only thing I really say that might be presetted is one EQ setting, but that's just only one. Only because I know.
It's okay to use presets. It's just not okay when your entire vocal chain is somebody else's work. Like all of mine, like So how I started mine and learning effects, bro, I took your mixes of my songs and I would take those raw versions of those songs and I would mix it and fuck with stuff and add stuff and try this and that until it sounded like yours. That way I could work on improving how I wanted it to sound. So like all my stuff was crafted by me. I didn't use any presets that weren't like automatically on the program. So
No, facts, because
it's just different
it's the
takes.
same way with me, because in the same way, like I had told you when I was giving you stems, like I literally might have one EQ preset, but everything else, like, and there are other things that like you said that I could preset, but 9 times out of 10 I will just
Well,
like,
now, bro, I have my own preset. I put the same preset on everything raw, and then I adjust it as needed to the song. Like, nothing wrong with a preset. Just don't use somebody else's preset every single time. That's like at least know how to use the effects and change it according to what you need. Like we said, understand what the effects do. Don't just use them.
yeah. And even when you have your own presets, still have like tweak it. Kanye, that should have like
Hmm
10, 20, 30 different tweaks, because like
Every song should not sound the exact same, bro. Every song
even
should not sound the same.
even when I had your presets, I probably like, well, RIP to the laptop, because unfortunately the laptop that I did most of the work on is gone now. But I would say there were probably at least probably 15, 20 different presets every time we did a song where I felt like, okay,
New
I
level.
yeah, like I could, like
Mhm.
like I said, like I might just like have that one EQ tweak, but then everything else I'm gonna have to start
Well,
brand new.
if you're you should that's kind of the point I'm making is you should be trying to improve if you're mixing your own stuff. If you're in control of what's going on your vocals, you should be trying to make it better every time, not throw the same thing and just like not improve it. Like yes, it might sound good, bro. It might sound good, and I don't have a problem with that. The issue is where you could sound better. You know what I mean? Like tweak if you just tweak this or tweak that, or you did the EQ like this, or you turn this down, like it could drastically make your stuff pop. So I don't know. No hate on anybody who does that. It's just a lesson. Like it'll make a huge difference once you know what you're doing, rather than doing what somebody else created for you.
Yeah, no, big facts. And at the end of the day, authenticity and originality beats all anyway. So,
Mm-hmm.
and
Yeah.
and honestly, after the
I can't tell you. I can't tell you how many people have came up to me, and even as far as like music style or sound wise, like mixing sound or whatever, like people have constantly given me respect and complimented me for doing things that weren't everybody else's, for doing it my way and being unique. So that's something to hold on to, bro, because people really do notice that stuff, whether or not you have a huge audience. Like people notice.
what were some of the singles that not only stood out to you, but you can say really stood out in your career and to your fan base? What were some of the singles that you can say have stood out before the build up going into the project that we are about to head into for the fall?
You saying in general over my career or
In
around the Got
general.
You EP?
In general, after Got You.
Hold on. Let me pull up the list because I forget what all my songs are. Uh, all right. I'll say my favorite single that I ever dropped that I still perform every single show to this day. I got two of them. Still Waters. I hit a vibe on that song of just being real that I think I need to get back to, and that I've had talks with certain people creatively how dope that song was. My Own Wave. That was a that one is probably one of my favorites. It goes the hardest at shows. I would say everybody. It's literally about doing your own thing. You know what I mean? So that one's always a vibe. I will say going into this project though specifically, my last song Go dropped.
About a
It
couple months
dropped on my
ago.
birthday. I want to say no, June 27th. June 27th. It dropped June 27th. that song kind of for me personally, writing that, and I kind of even speak on it in the song. Like, I'm not just a weed rapper, you know what I mean? Like, and I know like I rap a lot about weed and I have a lot of weed songs, but like I'm really trying to challenge myself and start diving deeper and just in general kind of showing more of myself. And I think that single was just kind of the announcement of this is a new era. Like expect new things from me. And that my EP, Color Theory, dropping September 19th. That leads into it, man. Everybody's gonna kind of get a peek at different sides of me that I don't think I've really shown as much. So I'm excited for that to come out.
So the inspiration, where does the inspiration come from, and why the name Color Theory?
So Color Theory, I always say one of my favorite things in my head, just having a bad day or whatever. It's just a blue day, you know what I mean? It's just feeling blue today. So that's just that that kind of inspired me to kind of write that. You know what I mean? I have a song called "Feel Blue" that dropped 2022, I want to say, and it was kind of more of experimental, just kind of trying a different sound out. But it was kind of writing about just kind of like having a bad day or those kind of feelings. So um, ever since that song, I've had Color Theory as an idea for an EP for probably about 2 years. Um, but then I wrote "Seeing Red." My I'll say "Seeing Red" is a track on Color Theory. I wrote that out of frustration and kind of as just a statement of I'm pissed off. You know what I mean? Obviously, seeing red ain't being angry. And that doing that song kind of led me to write the rest of the EP, which is "Seeing Red," "Feel Blue" Part Two, and "Purple." So it's kind of like red and blue make purple. Purple's obviously like a weed song. You feel me? So it's like when I'm mad or I'm sad, man, I use those things and I go and smoke and I try to use them productively rather than letting them overtake my mood and set the tone. I'll use those and kind of use those as fuel to create something a better situation, so to speak. You know, so that's kind of like mixing your colors, your moods, mixing your colors and making something new is kind of the whole theme of the project.
For the fans, once they tune into Color Theory, what's kind of like where the storyline is going to go after that?
As far as after Color Theory, man, I'm looking, like I said, man, I'm trying to start digging deeper and kind of make more real, authentic music that kind of people can more so relate to rather than just vibe to. So I'm leading myself. I'm trying to work on my first project. I don't have a name or anything picked out or a theme or anything necessarily hard lined out, but I'm trying to work on something more serious and develop an actual a dope body of work for myself to drop at some point, maybe within the next year. Maybe I'm not gonna curse myself or set a timeline like that at the moment, but in the meantime, man, I'm gonna be working on singles. I got a bunch of stuff recorded with some very dope artists. I have some extremely dope features on the way. I'm not sure if I'm gonna be coming with a small project or singles yet, but yeah, man, I got some really dope stuff coming. I'm excited to release what's been in the works and keep working up new stuff for the year to come.
So for the fans out there, what song on Color Theory when it comes out? What song would you expect for the fans to listen to that's going to stand out?
Um, I would probably say "Feel Blue" Part Two. I think it's the catchiest personally. It's got melodies. It's a style that I've never really put out before like that. It's a kind of a new take on my style of writing and of music, as well as just a new kind of perspective for me to write from. So I think that one's gonna be probably the most popular. But like I say, man, the ones you least expect are always the ones that people enjoy. So my personal favorite, man, I'll say my personal favorite is obviously "Purple." I love my what I did with the chorus and everything on that song. So I'm excited for people to get to it.
Yeah, no, big facts. And like I said, Phil Blue Part One was definitely definitely a standout alone. So part two is definitely going to, you know, like I said, I've already heard the project personally, y'all. Y'all know how I do. But I definitely will say that definitely is one of the standout ones that I definitely heard for myself. Like that was definitely one of the ones where I was sitting there like I wouldn't have
Thank you, bro.
and this is coming from somebody like this is like we're literally partners, and I would not have expected this from him. So it's like when I say that, like I said, it's definitely one of the ones that's definitely gonna have to go out on the shows and stuff, during on the right times when it's needed.
Yep, definitely gonna be looking to add these to my upcoming show lists and stuff.
So out of all the artists that you've collaborated with in the past year or so, uh, who are a couple that you can name?
So I got respect to Jim's Pool Room down at St. Louis. They're a label. My homie Tevo Jordan. I've had songs with him. He's on that. He's on their label, and those guys always show me big love, man. Capo. He goes by Capo. I guess. I'm not sure of his real name, but I will say I got him on a track, and he's been showing me a lot of love on my recent music. So I'm excited. He's one of those old school cats. You know what I mean? Some boom bap stuff. So I get to get in a little bit more of a lyrical bag with him on there. I named earlier B Henshaw out
Hmm.
in Pittsburgh. That's the homie. I met him through James and doing shows. So he's got a good following on TikTok and on Instagram and Facebook and stuff. And he's doing this thing, bro. All respect. I'm YouTube. I think he just had one hit like 11 million views. Don't quote me. I might just be tripping, but something like that. He had a short or something hit a lot of views. So I'm not to say I'm working with him because of that, because I'm not one that chases numbers, but he's extremely dope individual, and I'm excited to get some songs out with him. At least one.
I want to even take it back to like because you definitely had some great boom bap collaborations too, especially with the Wufu. Phew. I'm gonna say that was a
I mean, I
that
forgot
was
all
a
about Wufu.
that
I
was
shouldn't even that man.
I'm gonna say Wufu. That was definitely a lineup, bro. That was definitely a lineup. We
Man, word.
definitely can't leave that one out of the question.
No, bro, Wufu was great. So obviously it's inspired by Wu Tang. It's a Wu Tang type beat produced by the one and only Arrogant on the track. The homie, he's produced on a couple different songs for me now, but I got I won't call them old, but they're the old heads. I got Tevo Jordan, Motion Plus, and Odd Orville. All three are dope individuals, man. They're all on that old school vibe. Motion Plus has been making some waves recently. Shout out to Big Bro. But yeah, man, that track was great because I got to just bar it out with some guys who really are about that. You know what I mean? And that's kind of really the hip hop I really love to listen to. So it was great to finally be able to hop on a posse cut like that.
Yeah, yeah, nah, definitely, because that's definitely one of my favorite. Because me, I enjoy the boom bap and stuff as well. So, like I said, that was definitely one of the ones for me. And then the jigsaw freestyle with Mav,
Oh,
I
that's
think that
old.
song.
Yep.
Yeah, that was another one. I think Mav, I think his name is. I want. Hopefully, I said his name correct.
Mav Mike. I think he
Mav
went
Mike.
by. I don't know if he makes. I don't know if homie still makes music. I think he's still doing well. I've been keeping up with him on social media and stuff. But yeah, dude, that was one of the homies. I think I met him through doing shows with James. Man, he was one of the locals that had been making music for a while. So it was kind of it was a blessing at least to just get to be able to get a song out with him.
Yeah, no, yeah, definitely. And I'll say it like this, and just like how I asked the question about opening up for artists, this other question that I'm gonna ask: if you can think of any artists right now that you could work with, who would it be?
Out of anybody,
Yeah, it could be anybody.
man, I don't even know. I mean, obviously, dream collaborations are like I named earlier, people like Jay Zach, Chris Webby, Echo. Not to just name off one certain segment of hip hop, but that's kind of the lane that I've been in personally lately, listening wise. So, but I don't know, man. I would love to work with anybody that's dope, bro. I love music. I love making it. I love the challenge of new styles, and I love people who will make me have to try. Like, not that I don't try on any of my verses, but make me have to feel like I have to really bring it on a verse. So honestly, bro, anybody who's dope. I have a thing I post up on my Instagram page about doing mixing, mastering, and verses, and verses are always free from AyeBee. If you're dope, bro, I'm down to work.
If you're fire, if you're trash, cash.
If I don't fuck with it, bro, you gotta pay.
Yeah, nah, if you're trash, then it's cash. We need cash. Like, that's
I'm stealing that. I'm throwing that on the flyer.
yeah, nah, I'm gonna say yeah, yeah, look, you ain't get it from me, bro. So one of the final questions that I will like to ask is for artists out there who are still questioning themselves, who are puzzled, trying to figure themselves out, what is one bit of advice that you would want to give them right now?
It don't stop, bro. Keep growing. You gotta keep learning. You can't. You're not, especially as an artist, bro. I mean, just hearing other people I talk to express how they feel about it, like, I don't think you ever get to a point where you're like, I'm just good. Like, you can't get comfortable if you want to keep getting better. So you gotta just keep learning your lessons, take your L's in stride, and your dubs will come, man. I haven't gotten all my blessings yet. I'm confident in more's to come. So I'm in the same boat.
Yeah, nah, big facts. And, the one thing I definitely want to the one message I want to give out there to artists is, just definitely stay focused. Keep your head in the game and in the craft. And at some point you won't lose because, and it's really funny, like right before we did the stream, just seeing Rich Homie Quan pass away from.
R.I.P., bro. R.I.P. I'm not. I know I'm not the target demographic there, but best believe high school AyeBee was was listening to all that Atlanta music.
Yeah,
Big
no,
R.I.P. to bro.
yeah, only at 34 is just like that's
It's
just.
sad, bro. It's sad, but hopefully, his family. I'm sure his family's well taken care of. He was successful, so prayers and blessings to them. I mean, it's hard. It's a hard situation.
Honestly, bro, and this is why I just be telling my friends all the time, like, when I just be wanting to chill and not go out, cause like I've been a person that has been doing too much, and for the people out there, like I'll tell you, like it's just not it, and like you need the
Well,
mod.
and I will say, side note, I've just read rumors. I don't know any official stories, but I've saw rumors that it was an overdose.
Hmm.
Which I will say, man, believe me, I've done my fair share of drugs. Like, I've done my fair share of acid and shrooms and Molly and name it. You know what I mean? So it's not something to play with, bro. It's not cool. It's not something to base your lifestyle on. I know I talk a lot about weed, but there's there's a lot of things you just need to be knowledgeable about and stay away from.
Yeah, nah, big facts, bro. Cause like I said, like even shit like that, like as much as I do, I don't even drink like that. Cause I just know.
And that's the main reason I don't speak on none of that whenever I rap. Like my own wave, I say something about something something something. I don't drink. Like it's not, and not that I necessarily look down on people who do, but that's where I am with it. I don't speak on doing as many drugs as possible and drinking, etc. That's just not part of my lifestyle, so it's not something I advocate.
I've been doing this podcast for 4 years, but we've had our run going from the edge of 2017, going all the way to basically now. So basically, almost what's that like almost a 7, 8 year run, and just
Hmm.
and I've spoken on this on another podcast, I think Lockaware Radio, and the last thing that I want artists to just really, just write down whether it's a producer, whether it's a creative directive, whether it is management, partner, or however artist, however you choose to call it when it comes to you know having the other people like there for you, especially the resource. Like what's like the importance of just like having that like support system and having like a group of people, whether it's somebody like James or whether it's somebody like Joel or somebody just to like Tevo just to like collaborate and all that.
It's important, bro. Well, and one of my things is I work alone. Like I don't usually work in the studio with people. Not that I have anything against it. My home studio is not really fit for it, so I don't really have people in here. But like I do a lot of work alone, whether it's mixing or mastering or recording or writing. So like I've done both. I've worked with people and without people. So it's always easier to get to have those people around and to have people who you can get input from, whether that's on your music, whether that's on should I make this decision for financially or whatever it may be, you know what I mean? So it's important just to have voices of reason, voices of encouragement, because like it gets hard out here whenever you're whenever you're solo. It's hard when you ain't got anybody behind you. So yeah, it's important, man. It's important, and it's also important to show those people respect and their earned love and respect in general. You know what I mean? I
And
try to shout everybody out every time I do an interview because everybody plays a huge role. You know.
and on the other side of it is also the people making sure that they actually have good intent when it comes to helping, because even with me as an engineer, or just even like just being there when it came to like just making this next move. Like I said, like for me, it's just all about just supporting the artist, making sure that I'm there for the artist, and it doesn't matter if I'm producing the track or not. It doesn't matter if I'm mixing and mastering it or not. None of that matters. What matters is the end game. That's what it was
Mm-hmm.
started for.
Bro,
So
I've been blessed. I've been absolutely blessed with people who think like that. You and James and whoever else that I've ever been a part of. Like I've been absolutely blessed with not having to directly deal with a bunch of sketchy people who are just trying to make whatever move for themselves. Like I've been absolutely blessed with people who do have my best interests, and that's one of the main reasons why I, like I said, show love and respect to people who really earn it, man. Because they don't. Not everybody gets that. Not everybody has support at all. So it's definitely hard to come by.
yeah, not facts, and definitely shout out to Pops too. Definitely a great inspiration as well.
Hey, word to Pops, man. Word to Pops. He let me use his car for the promo vids for Go, which I still need to. If any video editors out there, they can get me with a good price, dog. Hit my line at ayebeemusic on socials, bro. I'm looking for an editor. Just plug myself a bit.
Yeah, nah, big facts, and you know, it's definitely, and just to let the fans know, it's definitely going to be another episode when the time comes. But it was definitely great to finally, bring you on here. Definitely great for us to have the conversations, for us to have all the stories, finally catch on, all the stories line up. And, like I said, we still got a long run ahead. It's definitely not over yet. Still got a long run ahead. This
No,
is just
we on it, bro.
this is just, to me, this episode is just a
It's a
checkpoint.
meetup, bro. This is just,
It's
yep,
a
exactly.
to
It's the
me
rendezvous.
it's a checkpoint for the fans, to be honest, just to let them know where, like, this kind of y'all checkpoint, and then now it's like y'all got to keep up with us for the rest of it.
Yeah.
But
You got to tune in, man. Follow. I'll say this, bro. I'll throw my plugs in. I got all my social medias, like I said, at AyeBee Music on Facebook. It's just AyeBee space music, capital A and capital B. Keep up, man. I'm dropping updates. I got updates and snippets on the project coming. I just dropped a super dope teaser for Color Theory. Like I said, that's September 19th, man. Make sure y'all keep an eye out for that as well.
Yeah, nah, big facts. And y'all already know it's your boy 215 Got Beats, aka Streets, aka you already know this, producer's new favorite podcast. And speaking of producers, also going to give a shout out to Arrogant. Definitely have to give a shout out to him. But y'all already
Word to
know
bro.
it's your boy 215 Got Beats, AyeBee. Let me rap with you. Until the next episode, we are out for the night. Make sure y'all follow Broham. Make sure y'all stream Go Out Now. Color Theory will be coming sooner than you think. So don't be blue in the face when that shit drops. You better be on go. No pun intended.
Tap in, y'all. Tap in, y'all.
You feel me? Let me rap with you. We are out of here. You already know, bro. Love you, bro.
Yep. Lay big dog. Peace.
For sure.